Yo, it's your boy DZ, man. You already know it's not about the setback, it's about the get back. I want to appreciate everybody that watches the channel. I appreciate everybody that subscribed to the channel, and I hope you guys continue to watch. And it's another day. I appreciate y'all. Listen, we all know that Jay-Z, his attorney, has been trying to push the motions heavy to get the victim revealed so that they and the public can know who this person is. And the judge has denied all motions. The judge is not going for it. And, maybe at some point, this person will be revealed so that they can be able to get more discovery and more evidence on who it is and how this allegation came about referencing Jay-Z. But right now, the judge isn't going for it. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that Jay-Z's lawyer is trying to get this witness revealed so that it's a tactic, whereas though, they say when the victims get revealed, most of the time in these kind of cases, they end up dropping the case because all of the attention. So is this a tactic from Jay-Z's attorney to try to get the victim, the alleged victim, to drop this suit? I mean, I want to know what y'all think about this. And, the line is open and you guys can call in and let me know how you feel about this, But from what I'm seeing, Jay-Z's lawyer tried to apply a certain level of pressure, which years and years ago, that kind of pressure would work. And I'm going to be honest. Years ago, when attorneys would apply this kind of a pressure to a victim or a witness through a court proceeding, it would go different. And I really think because the social media that is out there now, it's a different way that these judges look at things. And I think that the tactics that were used before, they're really not going through the same way. And I also think that, a lot of people think that the more money you got, the more power you have. And I think now that things are being exposed at this level, that really the more money you got, all it does is make you more of a target. I really don't think that money holds the same value as it did at one point in time in life. Whereas though the people with the money, they were cocky and able to get away with a lot more things. Now, if you have money, you have to have a technicality inside your case for your case to get dismissed, or you to get a lower plea deal, or for you to really get a win. Because now they see that people were buying their way out of a lot of situations because they had money. And this is what's been going on for years. And the judge on this case, he's letting it be known that you guys sent in a lot of motions and you guys tried to overly put the pressure to get this case dismissed, but we're going to let this case continue through the proceedings. And your lawyer, saying that Jay-Z's lawyer, doesn't have the ability to rush this process. This legal process, this civil process is going to go on as it would in any other civil case. And the celebrities have flexed to the world for so long, and they still talk about how they can get cases beat and how their lawyer will beat the case. But we see now it's just not that easy. It's not as easy as it was in once upon a time where, we heard alleged judges getting paid off for certain things, lawyers and prosecutors allegedly getting paid off for things. Now, they want the convictions. They want the rep out of these situations, and they're not just letting things go as if they would. And we know this case with Diddy is a big situation. This is a big deal. This is being talked about every day. And more things are coming forth every day. And I really think that in 2025, there's going to be so many more things that come forth that we don't understand right now. We just hear certain things being put to the public, but they're not enlightening us on everything. They're only giving us what they want to give us. And I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about this situation. Do y'all think that more evidence is going to come about on Jay-Z? Do y'all think Jay-Z is innocent in this situation? I want to know where you guys stand at and how you guys feel, because from what we see, it's more things coming forward, but they just haven't told us yet. Especially for the judge to keep this at the forefront, knowing that the victim had conflicting statements. So from what we see, I don't know if Jay is going to be able to buy his way out of this situation. And I want to be honest there. When any other time, Jay was always able to buy his way out of the situation. So it's come a time now in 2024. Kat said a lot of things will be exposed in 2024. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing that money doesn't have the same value as it did at one point. Every man or woman that gets cocky because they feel that they're on a financial level that other people are not, when it comes to these legal proceedings, it doesn't go as well. The only way they're able to work their way out of these situations, if it's a technicality, it has to be a technicality in the case to make the case go away or for them to get a good plea deal. And Jay is in a hot seat now. I don't know if it's just his association with Diddy or somebody that was connected with Diddy made sure that they reference Jay-Z in this situation because of their close relationship. And we all know that Jay and Puff been cool for a long time. They've done a lot of business together. They hung out together. But Jay-Z's lawyer made it his business to say Jay and Puff isn't friends. So I think now we're all seeing that money doesn't hold that same value. When at one point, money could buy your way out of anything. The people that had the money were always the ones getting out of the situation. Now, you ain't getting out of a situation unless it's a technical error. Something is wrong inside the case. But before, we could see that you were plain guilty and they could still buy their way out the situation. People like, how did they get out of this situation? When now that this is so public from social media, the judges are seeing it as we're seeing it on social media. So they get to see the evidence and they get to see the opinion of the people. So once the public says that you're guilty and you're guilty in the public opinion, that transfers into the court, because the people are the one that make a decision on if you're guilty or not. And we all know it's going to be a jury. It's not going to be a judge. You know, it's like very rarely do people want to pick a judge trial. Most of the time they want the jury. And the people of the world, I think a lot of people are saying guilty. But with Jay's case, they're saying guilty because of the association, right? And the evidence that we've seen so far has a lot of people on the fence. Have a lot of people saying, well, maybe he did it because of association with Diddy, but the victim, the story doesn't sound so solid. So us looking at this situation, the people are judging, and you don't know who he's going to get as a jury, you know? And for a while, celebrities always thought, man, listen, my lawyer going to beat it. I can buy my way out of this. I got the best attorney. And I try to tell people this, right? The judge, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney, they all go to the same school, man. They all hang out for lunch. They all have personal relationships. And if you ever been in a trial with an attorney, you can see that when it's break time, they laughing and joking with each other. Your life could be on the line. And I'm telling you, this is a personal experience that I've had. I was going to trial with my life on the line. And during breaks, my attorney and the prosecutor, they were joking. I'm dealing with my life here, and I'm watching the person that's supposed to defend my life laugh and joke with the person that's trying to take my life. And I try to tell people that they have a personal relationship outside of the business that you hired these people for. They all go to school together. They're buddies. So I'm sure that Jay-Z's attorney is going to fight tooth and nail for him because of who Jay-Z is and, you know, his status. But we already see that the judge isn't buying the motions that were put in to get the witness, the victim, revealed. The judge is saying, not right now. This isn't the time. And for that, the judge is saying that because he knows once that the victim is revealed, it's going to bring a level of heat to the victim from the public, from the people that have an opinion that might side with Jay-Z, right? And those people are going to, you know, probably harass the victim. And those situations, the victim usually back out. They don't want to be involved because of the harassment. And this is how sometimes the cases get dropped. So I think the judge is looking at Jay-Z's lawyer is using this tactic to press the victim to be revealed so that eventually the case will get dropped. She doesn't want to go forward because the backlash that she's going to get from the public. And I don't know if Jay-Z is going to be able to buy his way out of this. You know, we don't know exactly what evidence they have. You know, we are going to see, because for this situation, you know, to go on besides the level that it's at now, it must be something that they have to present, but they haven't presented it yet. You know, Jay-Z may be on some of these tapes that they recovered from Puff's house, and we don't know, right? So, and maybe on the tapes, it's not showing Jay doing something wrong, but he's in the building. Maybe on the tape, it could be showing that he was doing something wrong that isn't relevant to the lawsuit, but they still want to hold whatever he was doing to what's going on now. And this is what I try to tell people. Money doesn't hold the same value as it used to. And it was a time in the day where people could just buy their way out of the situation. It was a time where people didn't really have to face the consequences, right? But social media has made it where you got to face the music now. When something comes up about you and you're involved allegedly with something to this magnitude, it's not going to be as easy for you to buy your way out the situation, man. And we see this, man. And I think the judge is not going for the tactic of putting that pressure on the situation. Money doesn't have that same value as it used to. Money used to have a certain level of value, whereas though if you had it, you didn't even have to show up to court. Your lawyer would get it taken care of. That's how money used to hold that value in the legal system. Now, the people that are telling us that they're the top dog, they're really not the top dog. This is what we're seeing. They just look like it to us because the status and the connections that they obtain in their path to wherever they think they're at, the top or whatever you want to call it. But I really think that there is no top in this game, man. The more money you got, the more of a target you are. And that's how I see it. You know, some people think the more money you got, the more power you got, right? And I think a lot of ignorant folks still betray this energy until they're in a situation like this. When they're in this situation, they see that, damn, my money doesn't really hold the same value as it did one time. At one point, I could buy my way out of anything. I couldn't be stopped, right? And like Dame said, he's never seen Jay being put out here like this. Anytime Jay was in a situation, they let it go. Anytime something was spoke about Jay, it went away, right? But now, it's looking crazy, you know? And, you know, his lawyer tried to put that pressure on the system to put all of these motions in to get the victim revealed, to get the case dismissed. But the judge didn't bite. So the judge must know something that we don't know, right? Something was submitted to from the prosecution to the judge that, you know, made the judge say, we're not just going to go with what you want, no matter how many motions you put in. And they said that his lawyer put consecutive motions in to try to get this dismissed. But we see the money is not holding that same value, man. Jay is in the hot seat as well as Puff, you know. They got Puff in there criminally charged, right? But who knows if they're not going to criminally charge Jay in 2025. And what I'm telling you, right, if they criminally charge Jay-Z, they're going to hold him without bail as well. So is the money really holding the weight as you would think? And they can take the money from you anytime, no matter what you got. And all the people that he's connected to, they're not going to stand behind him if he's criminally charged. You see it. You see how they doing, Puff. These people ain't going to stand behind you when you criminally charged. It's people probably still standing behind him because this is a civil situation. But if he's criminally charged, you're going to see the distance that's created. And I try to tell y'all, man, the money doesn't hold the same value. Money can be spent. You can buy what you want with the money, but you can't buy your way out of situations as you could at one point. We all know at one point, people was buying their way out of situations left and right. It was easy, and then they would get around on a song and talk about it, right? You know how Jigga had the song with Kelly, Jigga, Kelly, Not Guilty, right? I wonder if he's going to talk heavy about this situation. Now, these allegations is next level, right? I don't think it's going to be as easy for Jay to get through this situation. You know, we looking at what's being presented to us, and, you know, they presenting some conflicting stories from the victim. But at the same time, they're presenting someone saying that she was taken advantage of and she was drugged. And we gotta be real about that, right? So I know y'all think the judge is taking that in a great weight to pay attention to the case. The lady says she was drugged, man. And all of these allegations that are formed against Puff with multiple victims, and then the association that Jay has with Puff, the judge sees the internet too. The judge is paying attention to the internet just like everybody else. So the judge is seeing that this is what's being said, their connections, and his lawyers coming out and say they weren't friends. Don't you think the judge is saying y'all weren't friends and we see the connection here? This sounds kind of funny. Of course. But maybe some people are not thinking about it that way. They're just thinking about the statement that she made. And the statement that she made was that they raped her. They drugged her. This was the time. This is what happened. And the father's contradicting the story. So, you know, the public is looking at it like, this doesn't sound too good. I can't really agree with this. But the judge has the case in front of him. He's reviewing the case firsthand. We just hearing the statement. So I don't know how this is going to play out for Jay, but I know his association with Puff is definitely looking bad. Can he be guilty by association in this situation? I want to know that, man. Is this a guilty by association, or do you think Jay was involved? You know, somebody waiting 24 years is a flag to the people, but they say that victims don't like to come forward in these situations with these type of people because of the backlash they get. And I don't know, man. It might get a lot hotter when 2025 hit and they start revealing more of the discovery and more about the case. And you know, Puff goes to trial in May. That's what it's scheduled for. And I really think that trial is going to get pushed back, honestly. But, you know, Puff goes to trial in May. And we don't know. We really don't know how it's going to go. But we do know Puff has a lot of people suing him civilly. But it's one person, I guess, that has this criminal situation on Puff. So money doesn't hold the same weight, man. These guys, billionaires. We looking at Jay and Puff as billionaires. And they're under the microscope for the unthinkable. You know? Nobody thought Puff or Jay would ever be in this situation. No matter what they said about Puff, nobody thought Puff would be criminally charged. sitting in jail without a bail. Nobody thought this. But now we see nobody's exempt. You know? And it made a lot of celebrities and rappers not be as cocky as they were. And you know, they got these new artists that are still a little cocky. That's because they're not paying attention to how these other celebrities are being taken down. Once they understand and pay attention to what's going on, that your money doesn't hold the value, they print the money, maybe they'll understand. You know, money is a flex that you can flex to people that don't have it. But it's not a flex to the judicial system. What does it do? You gonna pay the people that print it? Come on now. The government prints the money. You gonna pay them off when they print it? If they want you, they want you. And we see, obviously they want Diddy and Jay. We gotta call a spade, man. Obviously they want Diddy and Jay out of the situation. I really think that, you know, they used them up, man. They used up in this situation. There's nothing else for them to do. And this is what I try to tell brothers, man. They place these people in these situations because that's what they want to do. For whatever message that they want the people to present to the people, that's why they placed in the situation that they placed in, man. It doesn't take talent to get you in these situations. And we see how a lot of these artists don't have no talent, but they mainstream because it's an agenda. But when your agenda's up and they're done with you, they throw you away. And, you know, we looking at Jay as maybe Jay didn't do it, right? That's what some of the world is saying. But then we got to weigh his association with Diddy. It's heavy. Him and Diddy been rocking for a long time. And his lawyer, you know, he tried. He tried to put the pressure, you know, and I'm sure he was telling Jay, we're going to get all this dismissed. Because, you know, that's what lawyers do. They always give you, you know, this energy as if, man, we're going to get this dismissed. Not knowing how the judge is feeling. And honestly, judges make decisions off of their emotions. Yes, they're supposed to use the law, but they make decisions off of emotions. They have to judge something from the law, but also how they feel. So maybe this judge feels Jay had a part in this situation, and we don't know. Maybe the judge is saying, I'm not just throwing this case out until the process goes on. And maybe Jay might be found innocent civilly and the case get thrown out. But the judge is not allowing the process not to happen, which is what his lawyer is trying to do. The lawyer doesn't even want the process to happen, right? So I really think it don't look good. You know, they could get off or they could be found liable. You know, Jay hasn't been criminally charged. You know, some people say the statute of limitations is up, but from my understanding, it's really not. You know, it might look like the statute of limitations is up, but from my understanding, it's not. They got the ability to charge criminal, but I think it's still an investigation. They're trying to see if any more victims is going to come forward in this situation. And we don't know if there are any more victims, you know, especially with Jay. We see what's going on with Puff. It's people coming forward left and right. It's more victims coming out daily. 60 men and 60 women. I mean, that's a lot, man. And that money ain't holding that same value. It only, makes the people that don't have it visualize it as if they have that form of success where they can't be touched. But when we look at it, these are the people that's getting touched. All the people that got the money, those are the ones that are having to fight for their life. And Puff's fried chicken. And that's in my opinion. I really think there's no way, that Puff really makes it out of this situation. It could be a technicality, but I really think that, they on Puff. They got Puff in the bag because of all the witnesses that are going to come forward. And, those victims that are suing Puff civilly, they can be a witness in the criminal proceeding. They could be the ones that come forward and say their experiences in the criminal proceeding, to identify character. Because, that's what they use the witnesses for. They want to identify the character, man. And I don't know, man. Jay is like, he's trying to fight. He spoke out. But it's bigger than them. Somebody want him out the way. These tapes that was put out there, it's probably been people that came forward saying different things that were on the tape that were connecting Jay allegedly to the ties with Puff that we just don't know about. And 2025, I guarantee you those tapes come out. They're going to drop the tapes 2025, and we're going to see who's on the tapes. But right now, they're in litigation, getting the people that want to settle, so that they don't have to be exposed. And I'm sure there's some people that are on that level of Jay and Puff that is willing to pay off the settlement just not to have no involvement in these proceedings. So, and it's probably some people that, want to fight back. And it's probably some people that are willing to cooperate. That's what you got to, pay attention to. Because there's people that are willing to cooperate to not get theirself in something, especially if they've been seen on tape. They willing to cooperate. They willing to say, hold on, I seen them do this. And this is what you got to understand by having people around you. They have people that are willing to cooperate to keep themselves out of a situation. And we don't know who they are, but if it goes to trial, we might know. Puff's in the hot seat. I don't think Puff has the ability to shake it, but I think Jay might have a chance until we see more of the discovery, because more of the discovery might come out and it might reveal something that we didn't know. It might be some videotapes. And who knows how long the videotapes go back or what Puff had. They could go back real far. And they're going to use this evidence against both of them. You know, these guys ran the industry for years. They flexed for years. And now the money ain't holding the same value, man. Do you really own the money? Do you really own what you obtain? Do you own you? Ain't that major to think about that? Do you really own you? I don't think so. Because if they can take us and put us in a situation where as though we have no control over our life, even if you didn't do something, you really don't own you. Not at all. But the image, the facade that they make these people at this level put to other people, it makes people feel like you own things, like you run a situation. When really you just don't have the control or the power that you think you do. You only have the control and power that they allow you to have. And a lot of people don't pay attention to that. When they want to take it from you, they take it from you. These guys is talking to the people heavy, but they silent in this proceeding. You know, when we hear from Jay and Puff, you know that they was talking that lingo at one point, right? Because they obtained the money that the government printed. But now that the government is looking at them, they really not holding the value to the world as they did. You know, they don't look as big as they used to. And that's real. No matter how much money you got, man, the money don't hold that value when you got these proceedings unless you got a technicality, man. And I'm going to keep it a bean. And a lot of people don't understand that, you know. New and up and coming artists, they think if I get all the money, I'ma have the power. No, all you do is make yourself a target. You are the target now. This is the game, man. And we really got to pay attention to how the game is going. It's going in a direction that, you know, all the rap artists that are influential to the public, they being taken down. All these artists, you know, that had this influence, that may have been doing some things behind the scene, it's coming out. You can't hide it no more. We all know it's a lot of sick behavior going on behind the scene. So it's like we hear what the victim is saying, and it does sound funny, right? We do speculate if she's telling the truth. But I guess the judge isn't. When we see how the judge isn't letting these motions go through, and they put a motion to get it dismissed because of the conflicting stories from the victim. But the judge ain't going for it, man. We got to be real. The judge isn't going for it, man. Jay, it ain't looking too good for Jay right now. You know? And you know, when you're going through a proceeding, civil or criminal, and somebody's getting sued, and you don't get it dismissed as quick as you want to get it dismissed, it makes you still think about the situation. So this ain't just going away. When any other time, they could just get this pushed to the side. They can just get it thrown out, honestly. Any other time they had proceedings, Puff went to trial for the situation with Shine shooting, or Puff, whoever shot in the nightclub. And you know, Shine says Puff set him up, but he was able to get that situation dismissed, right? Because they say he allegedly threw Shine under the bus, right? So Puff was able to get that situation dismissed. But now, who is he going to throw under the bus when everybody's saying he did it? I'm wondering. There's nobody to throw under the bus for Puff. Everybody's saying you did it. Now they add in Jay. And, you know, they've been saying that Jay was going to be added. He was next. I didn't believe it. You know, I didn't believe Jay was going to be next. And for him to be the first person they exposed after the Puffy lawsuit got started, nobody else yet but Jay, man, they done killed Rap. Rap don't even look the same right now. Rap doesn't even look the same. I don't even know how anybody at this point would really want to be a rapper when we watching the takedown, you know? We see like it's over for Puff. I ain't even gonna lie. I think it's over for Puff. I really think it's over for Puff. And I don't see it's over for Jay at this moment, because the evidence we seen isn't so solid, but there is some type of evidence and somebody saying something. So maybe they might get somebody to corroborate her story. If they get somebody to corroborate her story, then it might be over for Jay. But she hasn't got nobody to corroborate her story, and what she's saying sounds conflicting. So in time, we're gonna see, man. I don't know, man. You know, you can let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Jay is innocent or guilty? You know, his lawyer said this never happened. His lawyer's saying she lying. You know, Jay spoke out and said, I'm a young man from the projects, and, you know, this is against the code. When we all know that there's people in the projects that are doing this kind of behavior. So, I don't know. You know, and obviously the judge isn't feeling it. The judge isn't agreeing with it. So he's going to have to fight this proceeding and pay his lawyer. It's not just, I'm going to pay my way out of this. You got to go through the process like everybody else. This is what the judge is saying. You got to go through the same process. You're not going to shorten the legal process and try to bully your way into getting these charges dismissed. The judge ain't go for it. You know, most of the time, you know, they always been able to bully their way and get these charges dismissed, honestly. It's always been like that. If they put the pressure on somebody, they even get the charges dismissed. And I'm wondering, right, if Jay's ever settled any other suits like this. Has he ever settled a suit where somebody's made this kind of allegation to him, and, you know, he just settled it not to go through with the proceeding? And, you know, we don't know, because they wouldn't reveal that. What we do know is the judge didn't go for the banana in the tailpipe. The judge wasn't going for, we just gonna throw this case out. When most of the time, this is what happens, especially with these conflicting stories. So I don't know, man. It might be looking bad for Jay. It might be looking good for him. But we're gonna see as this proceeding goes on if there's more evidence. You know, we're going to see the discovery. Things are going to come out because I'm sure they're going to reveal it. But most of the time, you know, in situations, evidence starts coming out later, right? And then the world is like, oh, I didn't know this, right? We just got the base of it. The victim spoke out. But I'm sure there has to be something that we're not seeing that is going to corroborate somewhere along the line what this woman is saying for her to make these claims. Because I'm trying to see, is this woman on any tapes at Puff's? And we don't know this now. She could be on a tape at Puff's. So this is gonna be revealed as time goes on. She could be on the tape, man. But I really know the judge is not going for it. Jay trying to apply the pressure with his attorney. It didn't work, man. And you know, lawyers try to put those motions in and, you know, put the pressure on the prosecution. And, you know, if it maybe wasn't this kind of case, it might work. But the allegations, and then I'm already sure that the judge is looking at Diddy as if you did something. It's something you did, because for all these people to make this same allegation, you did something. Things is being revealed. The way these rituals to get in the music industry has been revealed. And the game is out there, man. It's totally out there, so we gonna see. We are going to see. I tell you that now. I don't know though, man. It might not be looking good for Jay on this one. You know, all the pressure that Jay has tried to apply, and it might backfire on him, trying to put the pressure on it. You know, it really might backfire on him, trying to put the pressure on it. I ain't even gonna hold you. Let me see here. The judge said she ain't going. I mean, he said he ain't going for it. Honestly.
Remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name. But the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time, now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town. Attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Buzbee, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
Yeah, man. They're saying that the tactics didn't work. You know, a lot of times those tactics have worked. Whereas though they can put the pressure on the case and, you know, and they reveal who the victim is. Now, you know, the victim's uncomfortable and she just wants to drop the case, you know, because of who this person is. And from what we seeing, you know, the judge is like, we not going for it. You hear me? The judge is not going for it. And I'm going to say, this is why I try to tell you, money don't have that same value. You know, money used to have a whole nother value. You know, everybody that felt that they were wealthier than the average person felt that if I get in a situation, I can buy my way out. Now, they ain't got the ability. You can't buy your way out at all. Young Thug took the plea, right? I'm sure he paid that lawyer millions. But he had a technicality that happened during the case, and he took the plea to probation. So I'm telling y'all, everybody that has the money and has that cocky attitude, they just don't understand that your money can't buy your way out of the legal system as it could before. It just makes you a target. And once you're a target, they gonna run down on you. You know? Let me see here. Yeah, they gonna run down on you. Real rap.
On your first tank of gas, hope you can. That he was trying to extort Jay-Z. He said all that he was trying to do, and what he was doing, is he was engaging in standard pre-litigation practice, where you send somebody a letter in an effort to resolve the situation, particularly through mediation. But Buzbee, now we got to talk about him. He just filed, and this is what we're going to get into, he just filed a response that we have to talk about. And I got to give you some backstory on where this response is coming from. So the controversy here stems from this. The fact that Jane Doe, this anonymous accuser, sat down for an interview with NBC. Now remember, she claims at 13 years old, she got dropped off at Radio City Music Hall in New York City back in 2000, where the Video Music Awards were being held. She didn't have a ticket, so she wandered around outside, maybe hoping to see a celebrity or two. But who she saw instead was one of Sean Combs' bodyguards, who allegedly told her to come back later that night. He'd take her to a home where Combs was throwing an after party. And when Jane Doe gets to that party, she believes that the drink that she was given was laced with drugs because she started feeling woozy and disoriented. And she says when she went to find a room to lie down in, that was when she was assaulted by both Combs and Jay-Z. That's what she's alleging. And again, I should also tell you that Sean Combs has also denied these allegations as well. But when Jane Doe spoke with NBC News recently, she acknowledged that there are parts of her stories that, yes, they have some inconsistencies. Jane Doe was quoted as saying, "I have made some mistakes," but she said she stands by her overall allegations and says, look, this happened 24 years ago. Of course, some details have been lost to time. But here are some of the issues. Jane Doe says that after the alleged rapes, she was able to run away from the home, find this gas station where she was allowed to use the phone. She said she had called her dad to come pick her up. Problem there is her father told NBC News he didn't remember that, and that if he had come to pick her up, it would have been a 5-hour drive. On top of that, he apparently told NBC News that he never even heard of this alleged attack on his daughter until the reporters came asking questions. Jane Doe also claimed that she spoke to or saw Benji Madden at this VMA's after party. He, of course, is the lead guitarist for the rock band Good Charlotte. His representatives, though, told NBC News that he was in the Midwest on tour at the time. So with that coming out, Alex Spiro, who's Jay-Z's high-powered attorney, sent a letter to the judge calling the allegations a sham. Quote, she claims the assault took place at an after party at Mr. Combs' home, but photos that night show Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at Lotus nightclub for the after party. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. She admits she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. I talked about this before in a prior sidebar. It is possible, if you take her allegations as true, that Jay-Z and Sean Combs maybe went to a few places in that after party, so we don't know when this other after party where she claims she was assaulted took place. But again, this is problematic for her, right? The fact that her father can't back it up, the fact that the Benji Madden incident, there was also an incident that she recalled a Jumbotron, but there's been evidence to suggest there wasn't a Jumbotron. So there's holes in this story. Now, NBC News, they did report that they tried to locate this friend who allegedly drove Jane Doe to the VMAs that night, but it appears that person has died. And they indicated that they tried to reach out to this person's relatives, but they didn't really have any luck. Now, Jay-Z reportedly told NBC, this incident didn't happen. And he says, look, but Tony Buzbee filed it in court anyway. He doubled down in the press, adding, true justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Again, referencing Tony Buzbee. So Buzbee released a statement defending himself, saying, look, Jane Doe's case, it was referred to me by another firm. Her story had allegedly already been vetted. His statement read, our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. We will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. I've never had a client suggest that before. And for her part, this unnamed Jane Doe said to NBC, you should always fight for what happened to you. You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward. And before we again go into his latest response, I just have to give you one more piece of background information, because after all this happened, attorney Alex Spiro filed this emergency motion with the court. And he asked that either the case be thrown out completely or Jay-Z be dismissed from the suit. And he also said he wants to ensure that evidence be preserved in this case because he alleged that Buzbee may actually destroy evidence. So in a memorandum in support of this motion, it reads, this is again from Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, the fundamental inconsistencies in plaintiff's case revealed in the NBC interview, coupled with Buzbee's chronic inability to follow the rules in this case and others, creates a substantial risk that Buzbee will destroy evidence damaging to plaintiff's case, including evidence of his own misconduct. And the memo gives us a scathing summary of Buzbee's actions and how Spiro's firm believes that Buzbee has violated what's called Rule 11, that you act so badly in this case, you're a lawyer who acts so badly, you should be sanctioned, you should be punished by the court. I'll explain that in a minute, but what he writes is, rather than conducting his own due diligence to vet his client's claims, again referring to Jane Doe, Buzbee merely relied on the purported vetting of another firm, telling NBC Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us. But no one from the other firm signed the pleadings in this case. Buzbee did. He goes on to say, under these circumstances, it must be assumed that Buzbee will go to extraordinary lengths to conceal his ethical violations. There is accordingly a significant risk that Buzbee will seek to destroy documents or other evidence that would demonstrate that he knew or should have known that the allegations in the complaint were false. Okay, so there you have it. That's the backstory. Now, as I mentioned, Buzbee has responded. So, in a letter to United States District Court Judge Annalisa Torres of the Southern District of New York, that is where this case was filed, Buzbee writes, as with defendant Carter's prior letters filed in this case, It is histrionic in tone, but substantively groundless. Defendant Carter threatens plaintiff with a Rule 11 motion based on questions raised by one single television interview concerning events occurring 24 years ago when plaintiff was 13 years old. And he goes on to write, Defendant Carter's threat of a Rule 11 motion is frivolous because it characterizes run-of-the-mill disputes of fact as proof that plaintiff's complaint is baseless. None of the factual issues Carter identifies are sufficient even to grant summary judgment in Carter's favor, much less support Rule 11 sanctions. The fact that the defendant or a potential witness doesn't agree with or recollect the facts alleged in the complaint does not and cannot give rise to a motion for sanctions for filing a baseless complaint. Defendant Carter's threat of an immediate sanctions motion on the first whisper of factual uncertainty is just one more instance of bullying intended to have a chilling effect on plaintiff's counsel, and any potential plaintiffs watching these proceedings. That refers to, of course, any other potential Jay-Z or Sean Combs accusers. So let me break this down for you real quick. First, for a court to grant sanctions under Rule 11, usually monetary punishment, in a case like that, it is not common, okay? It is rare for a court to do that. You have to be talking about egregious bad behavior. Rule 11 is about a lawyer making false representations to the court, filing a lawsuit for an improper purpose, like merely just to harass someone, that a lawyer is asserting claims or defenses that are not backed up by the facts, the law, or evidence currently known or likely to be known. That is what we're talking about. And here, Buzbee is like, what are we saying? We're saying that Jane Doe's claims are just absolutely fake because Jay-Z said this didn't happen, or her father says he doesn't remember this, or a celebrity wasn't there. Look, she is recounting something from 24 years ago when she was a young girl. And also, I think he would argue, in any case, there's going to be conflicting witnesses about what did or didn't happen. These are why he says run-of-the-mill disputes. That can't be proof that her claims have no evidentiary support. And when he mentions summary judgment and how Jay-Z is not entitled to summary judgment is when a party asks the court to step in, just decide this case in their favor before there's even a trial. You're basically saying there is nothing for a jury to decide here. The argument from Jay-Z would be there's no way a jury can look at this and find in favor of Jane Doe. We call it under the law no genuine issue of material fact. Buzbee says just because there's a dispute here doesn't mean this didn't happen, doesn't mean he can't prove it, doesn't mean this shouldn't go to a jury. And he also explains there could be an issue with recollection here, that it's understandable because think about what she's alleging. She says she was raped at 13 years old. Of course that affects recollection, but it doesn't mean her claims aren't true. Buzbee writes, a Rule 11 motion is frivolous on the additional ground that expecting a victim of sexual assault over 2 decades ago, when that victim was a minor and, as her interview revealed, also autistic, to have perfect recall of all facts is outrageous. Defendant Carter twists plaintiff's words when he accuses her, for instance, of guessing at the timing of events alleged in the complaint, such as the length of car rides. But New York courts have expressly acknowledged that plaintiffs in this type of case cannot be expected to have exacting recall and command of all relevant facts. And then he cites a New York case from 2021 that held, we recognize that in matters of sexual abuse involving minors, as recounted by survivors years after the fact, dates and times are sometimes approximate and incapable of calendrical exactitude, and approving allegations spanning a 4-year window of time in which the abuse could have occurred. Buzbee also cites a second issue with this Rule 11 motion, the timing. He writes, Defendant Carter also asked this court to alter the federal rules of civil procedure in his favor by abrogating the mandatory 21-day Rule 11 safe harbor period without any legal support or factual justification whatsoever. So a quick primer here. Under the federal rules, a motion for sanctions, quote, must not be filed or be presented to the court if the challenged paper, claim, defense, contention, or denial is withdrawn or appropriately corrected within 21 days after service or within another time the court sets. So the reason we have that is because you want to give a party, a plaintiff or a defendant, and their lawyers some time to review the objections from the other side and figure out if they need to amend or withdraw something. They should be allowed some time to fix this. And Buzbee says Jay-Z is asking the court to shorten that time period from 21 days to 1 day. And he argues Jay-Z has not provided any support for why he should be entitled to this. And Buzbee also argues that this motion from Jay-Z and other legal steps Jay-Z and his attorneys have taken, such as requiring that the issue of whether Jane Doe should have to reveal her identity, that it needs to be resolved now at the start of this case, all of this, Buzbee says, is crossing the line into bad faith. And from there, Buzbee goes more on the attack. He writes, moreover, outside of the courtroom, Mr. Carter has employed tactics of intimidation and harassment, even more extreme, tortious, and quite possibly illegal. My firm recently filed a lawsuit in Harris County, Texas, that details how Mr. Carter's company, Rock Nation, and his counsel have bribed my clients to file lawsuits against my firm, threatened former clients, impersonated state officials, and engaged in other behavior far beyond the pale of acceptable conduct. Their tactics won't work, and they will be addressed in more detail in connection with the plaintiff's briefing on plaintiff's anonymity. So they haven't decided that issue about whether or not Jane Doe will have to remain anonymous. That's going to continue to be argued. But what he's alleging here, and what this is in relation to, is something that we talked about on a previous sidebar. How Buzbee's firm did file a lawsuit claiming that Rock Nation paid people to impersonate officials, use fake badges, offer money to people who agreed, essentially the argument is, to file lawsuits against Buzbee's law firm. For example, the lawsuit states one such target of defendant's solicitation was plaintiff Gerardo Garcia. He was injured in a Jones Act lawsuit and hired the Buzbee law firm to represent him. His case was settled in 2020. He was happy with the resolution of his case and had no complaints with the Buzbee law firm. Nearly 5 years later, after his case had been resolved, not seeking to hire a lawyer or file a lawsuit, Mr. Garcia was contacted out of the blue by two investigators. This contact was an illegal solicitation and was made on behalf of and as part of a conspiracy involving defendants. According to Garcia, two investigators came to his home and flashed some sort of badge at him, stating that they were from the state. They asked him about his 2020 settlement, wanting to know if he was happy with the result and asking to see the paperwork. They allegedly said they could get him in touch with a private lawyer who could sue the Buzbee firm and get him a lot of money. So again, that's what he's referencing in his letter. And going back to this letter from Tony Buzbee, he writes to the court, like Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter is rich, famous, and powerful. Mr. Carter will exert all the pressure he can to intimidate and harass plaintiff, me, or anyone else. The chilling effect of these efforts is substantial, as is the potential chilling effect of a Rule 11 motion being brought in these circumstances. And finally, he also addresses in this letter one more thing. He addresses Jay-Z's legal team's claim that Tony Buzbee is not licensed to practice law in this New York court, and that he never sought admission, and that he neither sought admission to practice on a temporary basis for the case. We call that pro hoc vice. And they say, despite that, Tony Buzbee has been signing papers in this case nonetheless. Well, Buzbee has a response to that. He writes in this letter that Jay-Z's December 13th letter includes a substantial amount of defamatory suggestions about me, including that I am somehow attempting to circumvent the authority of this court to enforce Rule 11 against me. That is nonsense. I am a member of the State Bar of New York and am admitted to the Eastern District of New York. I intend to apply for reciprocal admission to the Southern District. The fact that I have signed pleadings and letters filed in this court does not reflect any attempt by me to evade responsibility for anything. To the contrary, I have signed those pleadings and papers because I am lead counsel in this and other similar cases pending in this district. Now, here, look, in the end, this is my analysis. I think that a Rule 11 sanctions is probably premature, right? I think there's a strong possibility that the judge will not impose sanctions at this stage of the litigation unless there's more definitive proof that Buzbee knew Jane Doe's claims were all false and that they are false and that he just filed it anyway. I think there needs to be a bit more explored here. I think there's an argument to be made that, look, I mean, of course, there's a difference between what a plaintiff and a defendant say happened, and of course, there's going to be competing witnesses, but again, let's see where that goes. Now, before we go, one more thing I have to mention. Before Sean Carter, Jay-Z, was named as a defendant by name in this Jane Doe lawsuit, he apparently filed an anonymous lawsuit against Tony Buzbee, again, claiming he extorted him. But now it is being reported by outlets such as Rolling Stone and People that he has added a defamation claim in his legal action against this Texas lawyer. Defamation is a false statement published to a third party, and since you're dealing with a public figure, you have to prove actual malice, that you knew this statement was false when you made it, or you acted with reckless disregard for the truth when you made it. You didn't even do the proper due diligence. And here it's about the fact that Buzbee, Jay-Z claims, held a press conference months ago announcing that he would be filing a multitude of lawsuits against Sean Combs and that he would be naming names. And then what does he end up doing? He names Jay-Z as really the first high-profile alleged accomplice to Sean Combs, who, as we know, is currently facing federal sex crimes charges. So Jay-Z's complaint, filed in LA, reportedly states, beginning in October 2024, Buzbee spoke on any news platform that would have him, threatening that his firm had a long list of names of people in the entertainment industry who he accused of terrible conduct and who should be prosecuted and put underneath the jail. And the complaint further states, and Buzbee then gleefully announced to the world that one name on his long list was Mr. Carter, claiming that he engaged in criminal sexual assault. Now, Buzbee denied the defamation claims, replying via press statement, "The new claim is patently frivolous and will be dismissed. I've never said a word about him. This is just another attempt to bully and intimidate me. It just won't work." Now, so in my opinion, I think that this defamation claim might be tricky to win because usually parties are protected from being sued for defamation when they file lawsuits and they file legal claims against each other. Every lawsuit is an accusation that the other side will deny. You can't just say, oh, well, everybody can sue for defamation, otherwise you really wouldn't have lawsuits. People can't just turn around and automatically be able to sue for defamation because, again, that would chill lawsuits from coming forward. But if there were statements made in public, that's a different story. Now, Buzbee may say, I never mentioned Jay-Z by name in any of my prior comments before filing this Jane Doe lawsuit. The counter-argument to that would be, well, now we know who you were talking about. It's like in the Johnny Depp case, right? He wasn't named specifically in that Washington Post op-ed piece about domestic violence that was penned by his ex Amber Heard, but the jury said in that trial, those statements were clearly about him and they were defamatory. So let's see how all this shakes out. I am sure there will be a lot more ahead. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you.
Yeah, so they done revealed everything. And I really think that it's going to be more stuff that's going to come out on Jay-Z. I mean, y'all can let me know how y'all feel because the lawyer is fighting back. The victim, she has a lawyer that is fighting back, and we don't know. It might not be looking good. Y'all can let me know what y'all think. Seriously.
For you,
it done got messy.
this is the same jurisdiction where Combs is being prosecuted criminally for federal sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution charges. The first thing that I noticed about this lawsuit is that the plaintiff here identified herself. Yeah, so unlike many other lawsuits that Sean Combs has faced since he was first sued by his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura back in 2023, many of these people filed anonymously. In fact, the lawsuit that Jay-Z is facing right now in a joint lawsuit with Sean Combs, that is an anonymous Jane Doe. This lawsuit, this accuser here, has identified herself, and she has identified herself as LaTroya Grayson. Few things to note here. Number one, first of all, for her to come out publicly against Sean Combs, it's a big thing, right? It's a big thing, not easy to do. Second of all, I wonder again, as we've seen in other lawsuits where you have Jane and John Does trying to proceed anonymously in their cases against Sean Combs. This just could be another example. Well, here's another accuser who filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, revealed her identity. You don't have enough grounds, you don't have enough reasoning for you to proceed anonymously. But also it seems to me, because you are seeing a number of those lawsuits where the courts have said that these Jane Does have to reveal their identities, she may have said, I'm just going to skip that step. If I'm going to sue Sean Combs, I'm going to identify myself. Okay, now let's talk about the lawsuit. When she filed this lawsuit against Sean Combs, she didn't just name him as a defendant. She also named Bad Boy Entertainment, Atlantic Records, Mike Savis, who is described as an employee of Atlantic, Delta Airlines, an Oklahoma radio station called KJAMS 105.3 FM, the Roger Smith Hotel in New York, and others. And I will explain how they are all put together in this complaint. Now, the first part of this complaint kind of sets the stage, the timeline. It talks about Cassandra Ventura's lawsuit, talks about how other lawsuits came out after she filed hers, all against Sean Combs, talks about his arrest, his denial of bond, and then it says this. Plaintiff now alleges she too is one of the many victims of defendants Combs and the other defendants named herein. Plaintiff can support her allegations and has suffered extreme emotional distress impacting nearly every aspect of plaintiff's life and personal relationships. Given all the brave individuals who have come forward against defendant Combs, plaintiff is also doing the same. So who is LaTroya Grayson? Well, apparently she is a resident of Oklahoma who says that when she was 23 years old back in 2006, she was assaulted. So according to her, back in 2006, that is when K-Jams, this radio station, began promoting a contest that was sponsored by Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, and Atlantic and Delta. And the contest offered a winner of an all-expenses-paid vacation for two to New York City to attend one of the infamous Diddy white parties. Sounds like a great thing, right? And Grayson explains that she and her sibling entered this contest and her sibling won. That included apparently round-trip airfare for the winner and a guest, brought her along, a hotel room, 2 white party tickets, the whole shebang. But Grayson says this wasn't a typical white party. Rather, it turned out to be a promotional party. And also, she says it was really strange because the date was rescheduled without any kind of warning or explanation. And it was also changed from a white party to a black party. So, okay, so now you're seeing kind of difference in how it was being marketed to what the actual gift or prize was. Now, throughout this complaint are photographs, and one of the photographs is what purports to be a letter from Atlantic with instructions on how to attend the party, and also photographs of what appear to be the plane tickets. So Grayson says she and her sibling, they go to New York City, which, by the way, neither she nor her sibling had ever been to before. They check into the Roger Smith Hotel, and embedded in the complaint is what appears to be a copy of the invoice or cash deposit from the hotel as well. Again, further evidence to show that all of this happened. From there, she claims that she was picked up in this transportation van that was arranged by the man I mentioned before, Mike Savis from Atlantic. And by the way, from Delta to Roger Smith to Savis, you can see how all of these different defendants, their roles in what is allegedly about to happen. And aside from the heinous accusations in these Diddy lawsuits, as a lawyer, as a legal analyst, I gotta say, there is really impressive lawyering going on in these filings. And whenever I think of that, how could I not mention another great set of attorneys, our partner, our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Look, here's the deal. If you get in, they were judged based on their attractiveness. Only the attractive people would be let into this party. And that is important because she claims she was let into the party, her sibling was not. Essentially meaning she was alone. Now, as further evidence that she had won this contest, took the trip, went to the party, embedded in this complaint are what appears to be photos that she took with celebrities at the party, including rappers Babs and Bone Crusher. And here is where everything takes a turn. I'm going to read directly from the complaint. Well, at the party, there was no bar for partygoers to get drinks. Instead, pre-made drinks were being circulated throughout the party by waitresses. After less than 2 pre-made drinks provided by the waitresses, plaintiff began to feel sick and tried to go to the restroom. By the way, this echoes what we have seen before with other allegations of Sean Combs. The allegation that he had sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl, by the way, back in 2000 at a VMA's after party. I believe in that complaint, it was that she had just taken a drink that was being offered and all of a sudden began to get sick. Moving on. The next memory plaintiff has is awaking at St. Vincent's Medical Center of New York. Photographs of the statement of account from that medical center and a hospital ID band, again, appear to be embedded in the complaint as well. It goes on. Plaintiff has no memory or no recollection on how she ended up at the hospital. When plaintiff regained consciousness at the hospital, she noticed her shirt was ripped, her underwear was missing, she was not wearing any shoes, and the money she had traveled with was stolen. The only money plaintiff had remaining was a $20 bill. Plaintiff was admitted to the St. Vincent's Hospital, treated, and released. And she explains that when she was released, She was a tourist. She'd never been to New York City before. There were no smartphones, so she really couldn't figure out how to get back to her hotel. She claimed she had to hail a taxi and use the only money she had left, a $20 bill, to get her back. The complaint goes on. When plaintiff returned to her hotel, she called a friend and explained she was not sure what happened to her, but plaintiff believed she was drugged, assaulted, robbed, with no memory of how she arrived at the hospital, as her last memory was being at Diddy's black party. And then she claims she ends up flying back home. But then, this is where things take yet another turn. The complaint reads, the day after plaintiff returned home from New York, she received a call from a New York area code with an anonymous female caller. The anonymous female caller asked to speak to plaintiff. The anonymous female caller then threatened plaintiff, telling her that any attempts to pursue anything about plaintiff's assault would be futile because defendant Combs was a celebrity and that plaintiff would just be wasting her time. Plaintiff was confused and scared as she did not know what happened to her. Plaintiff, hearing from this anonymous female caller, was further jarring and traumatizing as plaintiff learned that not only was she viciously assaulted, leading to her waking up at the hospital, but that defendant Combs was involved, and plaintiff would be unable to seek justice for her injuries because of defendant Combs' celebrity status. And then it goes on to say, for approximately a week after she had returned home, she felt this constant pain in her private area, and it's pain that she believed was from rough sexual intercourse. But again, she says she has no memory of engaging in intercourse with anyone. The complaint goes on to say, plaintiff did not seek medical treatment or otherwise report her assault to law enforcement because she was scared and confused. First, because she did not know exactly what happened to her. Second, because of the threat she received from the anonymous female caller of defendant Combs' involvement, and it being a waste of time due to his celebrity status. And then she goes on to explain how, as a result of what happened to her, she suffered from depression, anxiety, she has felt shame, she felt betrayed by all those who facilitated her attending this party, and as a result, she says, she hasn't been able to keep a job or be a productive member of society, that she's experienced intimacy issues. This is a harm component that's important in these kinds of lawsuits. What did you suffer? It's important for a damages analysis. And she says the reason that she filed this lawsuit now, so many years later, is because Sean Combs is currently locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center with no bond, that she finally feels safe to come forward. Okay, before we move forward, I have a few thoughts on this. First of all, from a legal point of view, the weaknesses in this case, in this claim, are that she doesn't remember anything. That includes not only the alleged assault or what exactly happened to her, but even her meeting or having any interaction with Sean Combs. She is basing this off what someone else allegedly told her. Her hospital visit, the pain she felt, yes, that's important. But can you tie it back to Sean Combs? There is clearly, evidence based on her account. Her hospital visit, the pain she felt, you could say that is evidence of sexual assault for sure. But again, can she prove that it was directly tied back to Combs, that he did this? And look, of course, episodes like this are very common in assault cases where the victim or alleged victims, they don't remember anything, particularly if they've been drugged. But in a court of law, that could be an issue. Now, on the other hand, if she is being portrayed as someone who is just making this up to go after Sean Combs, that this is another payday, couldn't she have made up details that were more helpful to her case, that were more beneficial? Couldn't she say, yeah, I remember Combs came into the room, he did this, he did that? No. The fact that she says, this is what I remember, this is what I don't remember, and then recounts just this bizarre alleged phone call, perhaps that makes this story even more credible. Plus, on top of the photographs of the different parts of this trip, that will help. She also explains, this is why I never came forward earlier, as why a lot of people didn't come forward earlier. It took something for him being locked up in a detention center for me to feel comfortable about coming forward. Also, from a legal point of view, it may become an issue to tie all of the negative things that have happened to her in her life to this alleged assault. Could be an issue, something that I think the defense would explore if this goes to trial. Now, let me go into what the causes of action or claims are in this complaint, what she's suing for. The first is a RICO or racketeering claim. So aside from the fact that Sean Combs is being criminally charged with racketeering conspiracy, We haven't seen one of these in a lawsuit against Diddy in a while. I remember that Sean Combs' former producer, Rodney Little Rod Jones, he filed under a RICO claim in his cause of action. He claims that he was sex trafficked and assaulted by Sean Combs. So this is an interesting cause of action. And racketeering is about a criminal enterprise or series of illegal activity. And as she lays out in this complaint, one category is dealing in obscene matter. Now here, Grayson says that all the defendants are 100% liable for what Combs allegedly did to her, that they financially benefited from Combs, that they provided him with the resources he needed to do this, and they didn't investigate or monitor him. The complaint reads, the support provided by the RICO orchestrators to defendant Combs was a lifeline that spearheaded and maintained the defendant Combs' depraved actions. Upon information and belief, the establishment of a business relationship with a prominent record label, Atlantic, prominent common carriers, Delta and Roger Smith Hotel, allowed for a distribution platform for all defendant Combs' business endeavors to disguise his true intentions with overly broad and vague in nature descriptions of activities. Defendants knew or should have known that defendant Combs had no intention to utilize the resources he received for business-related purposes, and they did not put any mechanism in place to ensure that their resources, specifically their publication, were not being used for any illegal activity. Defendants' willful blindness resulted in plaintiffs suffering the harm detailed herein. And there was this idea that the criminal enterprise, these activities cross state lines. And it reads, the defendants have unlawfully increased their profits by luring and deceiving individuals such as plaintiff under false pretenses for defendants' personal desires, deviances, and gain. That there was a common purpose to enrich themselves at the expense of people like Miss Grayson. And all the defendants were direct participants in this fake marketing scheme surrounding a safe and fun party for people to attend. But Grayson was allegedly abused there. This was their fault. This was all an illegal conspiracy or agreement. And she even claims that there were multiple acts of wire and mail fraud as evidence of this RICO enterprise by distributing marketing materials and contest instructions and secure wires and cash payments, all to, again, allegedly lure in unsuspecting victims like plaintiff. Now, as part of this claim, Grayson is not only seeking a variety of damages to compensate her, but also, and this was interesting, she is requesting that she be granted an incentive or service award. So we usually see this in litigation, particularly in class action cases, where a court will reward a plaintiff for the work that they did in the case, understanding the risks that they took in bringing this case. She's also suing for assault and battery, negligent hiring, training, supervision, and retention on the part of Bad Boy, Atlantic, and K-Jams for employing people that allowed this alleged misconduct to happen. She's suing for negligence and that everyone owed Grayson a legal duty of care. Negligent and intentional infliction of emotional distress, which are very kind of broad, all-encompassing claims, either engaging in conduct likely to result in emotional distress, or its conduct is so extreme that it just goes beyond the levels of human decency. And finally, she is suing, and this is the one we've seen before, she is suing under the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. We've seen this in other lawsuits. And this complaint actually does a good job of explaining what that is. So this law created a 2-year look-back window from March 2023 until the end of February, March 2025, for survivors of gender-motivated violence to sue their abusers for claims that would otherwise be time-barred. Sexual assault is a form of gender-motivated violence. The idea here, allegedly drugging and assaulting Grayson at a party thrown for a radio contest winners, is a crime of violence that was committed because she was a woman, and there is a degree of animus towards women, and that is evidenced by a lack of consent. So aside from a plethora of damages for each claim in the award that I mentioned before, Grayson is also in this lawsuit seeking a judgment that declares all the defendants engaged in unlawful practices. Now, in response to this reportedly $15 million lawsuit, a statement on behalf of Combs was issued to Fox News Digital, and it reads, Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone or engaged in sex trafficking. Ms. Grayson admits she has no memory of the events alleged in her complaint, does not know who was supposedly involved, and has never spoken to Mr. Combs. Her allegations against him are pure fiction. As we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every baseless lawsuit and lawyer-driven money grab. He has faith in the judicial process in which fact will be separated from opportunistic fabrications like these. By the way, before we end things, so Grayson is being represented by Ariel Mitchell. This is somebody that we've interviewed here on Sidebar. She is somebody who's represented other Sean Combs accusers. And as you may recall, she also represents Courtney Burgess, who reportedly testified in front of a grand jury, apparently hearing new evidence in Sean Combs' criminal case. Burgess claimed that he had in his possession multiple sex tapes of Combs and celebrities. So this is a big development, another big lawsuit.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So, that's a lot of information that was just put in front of y'all with Diddy and Jay-Z. So the case is going forward and we shall see where it goes. I don't know, but I do know they pushing this case on through. So they saying they didn't do it. And the judge ain't going for it. That's what I see here. The judge is not going for it. Let's see what they say about this lady right here. She tripping.
I did not hit her. I got up, and that's when he did all this, everything.
It's the biggest shopping day of the year in Joliet, Illinois, where one Walmart employee's sticky fingers may not have been from Thanksgiving leftovers.
All right, Deja. So they got you on camera, basically taking money from the register, putting it in your pocket.
Money? Where?
Yeah. They got you on camera.
Nothing, please.
Would you be able to empty out your pockets?
And my money.
Okay, can you take that out?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Our suspect can be seen here pulling out some questionable cash from her vest pocket. Let's see what happens next.
I see it.
Do you have anything else in your pockets?
No, sir. I mean, no, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna have you go ahead and place your items right there. I'm gonna have you turn and face the wall right here. I'm gonna pat you down. You got nothing on you?
Which pocket did you put
Take
in?
your hands behind your head, or like
This one?
behind your head.
Police identify the cashier as 20-year-old Daja Holly. Walmart employees claim she stole money from registers multiple times. Investigators confront Daja with evidence, and you'll see how that goes.
I didn't take anything. I have my own money.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's on camera.
Can I see for myself? Please?
I'm going to show you the pictures just to show
Oh,
you.
that's
There's
fine.
a camera like literally right
I
above
know that. Of course.
you. So here's the times that I guess you were taking it the other days, right? The other days? Okay.
I can't see nothing. I see me taking money out.
Daja's asked to write a statement about what happened with the money.
What I'm going to need you to do is write a statement about why you have this money and explain to us what has happened on these previous days.
How can I know what happened if it looked like I'm taking money out of the drawer?
I'm just letting you know, it's all in video, okay? So I need you to write a statement about what has happened with this money that we have missing from your registers that you've been on. Okay?
Like, what do I'm confused. What do
So you right?
I hear him.
Okay.
I hear him.
Okay?
Like, y'all gonna make me mad. I'm being calm right now because I'm trying to see what's going on.
With our confused culprit growing increasingly agitated, it isn't long until the situation escalates.
Okay?
I'm confused. Can I put my stuff back up here
No,
now?
just leave him up there.
This is my that I bought for my mom.
Okay, ma'am.
Write
listen.
the statement.
We're gonna.
This is
keep
my
your
stuff
out.
though. What y'all
Okay, right now
mean?
you're in custody. Okay. So I need you to
Custody
get
for
your stuff
what?
out. All right, just write the statement. That's fine.
Like this is my stuff I bought with my money. Why
Okay,
can't I
so
put it
then
back
write
in
that
my-
on the statement.
I
so that
am.
we can- Okay, you don't need to yell at me. Do what they're
I'm
told
grown
you
as
to do.
hell. Don't talk to me how I'm not talking to you. I'm talking
Okay,
to you.
right now you're still at work, so you're gonna do what work's gonna ask you to do, and he's gonna write that
I
statement.
am, but
So
let
you're-
them, my people, the people that I'm working for, let them talk to me, please.
Okay,
Y'all
well,
don't
they
have
called
to.
us to assist, so now we're here. So now you're gonna write that statement.
Y'all putting on, like, come on, man.
Moments later, Daja gets a case of writer's block.
Just write what happened. It's already documented. It's already in video.
I want to see what happened. That's why
I'm telling you what happened.
I'm not talking to y'all, please.
Listen,
I'm talking
listen.
to you.
But I'm not talking to
You're
you.
not
I'm
gonna
talking
see
to
it.
him.
I'm telling you what's happened. Okay.
Okay, but like, what?
Seen on
How
video,
am I?
taking money from the registers and putting it in your
So
vest
that's
pocket.
what y'all seen,
Okay.
and that's what I didn't do.
Okay. Well, it's on video.
Okay, I want
It's
to
on
see a video.
Well, I'm telling you. I'm telling you what's on video. Okay.
It's okay. I don't want to write no statement.
Daja is asked to turn in her work property when she comes up with a question of her own for officers.
I don't come here just to look at videos.
So what y'all finna do?
Arrest you.
Arrest me?
Yeah, so you're gonna do what they told you to do, is get back on.
Why is y'all arresting me?
Because you're under arrest for stealing.
I didn't steal anything.
Okay, just take off your vest so then we can get out of here.
Okay, can I go home? I didn't steal. Like, I'm not even from out here.
Can you work for it?
Bro, don't touch me. I gotta get my. I gotta get my stuff.
You're under arrest.
Bro, I'm not even out here. I did not steal.
Stop it!
Okay. I'm telling you. Okay. You just broke my. Okay. Can I turn around?
All right.
Stop resisting!
You want to get tased? Get on the ground. Give me your hands.
Put your hands behind your back or I'm gonna tase you.
You're hurting me.
Fine.
No, he's hurting me. Oh, John, y'all serious
Now
right
you're
now?
under arrest for resisting.
What you mean? I'm just finna turn around, y'all. Can I get my belongings? Can I get my belongings?
Our suspect notices her nail was broken in the scuffle when things take another turn.
I'm trying to, like, what the? Y'all just overdid it. Ooh, you just literally broke my.
32.
Oh, y'all serious? I'm showing the out of y'all. What you mean?
Get against the ground.
I swear to God, y'all fool, boy.
Stop resisting.
Y'all did this, bro. Y'all did this.
Just calm down.
Y'all been hurting me.
A lot of noise in the background. Did you say
Y'all calm down, please.
Calm down.
Damn, bro.
32. Stop resisting.
You doing it. Stop. You white ass.
West Cover? Someone else in there. Yeah, for West Cover, I'll put you on it.
32 is no rush. You're good.
You need 10-9. You say rush or no?
This barely broke my nail, yes. Ooh. Ooh, bro.
32, son of 52 too. She's bleeding.
You did it.
You were
Why? No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I promise I didn't.
Okay.
It burned.
Stop tensing up your hands.
It burned, man. Like, I'm not doing any. Y'all already got me in the handcuffs. Where can I go?
You're getting an ambulance to get checked out. Just calm down.
What? Like, that don't even make sense.
That's why you're gonna.
Y'all did this, bro. After the fact, why
did you resist arrest?
I did it.
Okay.
I did it. I asked,
So
like,
you
can I
throwing
get
the
my
phone at her?
thing?
So you throwing your phone at
I
her?
did. On my granny, on my cousin
on
granny
video.
that's tatted on me, G.
It's on
I did
video.
not hit her.
Well, you're on body camera, so.
Wait, yo, did all that. After the fact, I asked her politely, can I go in the back and get my thing?
Medics arrive to check out Daja's hand. Hey, I want to thank Upside for sponsoring this body cam. Upside is a for 85 real. Find out how much you could earn. Click the link in the description to download.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You want to go to the hospital and get checked out?
No.
Okay. How about we cover that up so it doesn't bleed all over, okay? Sounds good?
Looks like our suspect is getting her cured. Let's jump ahead. Officers arrive with those belongings she mentioned before.
John, you want to take that? Yeah, just put it in your car.
I know.
Cool, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
He's got to make sure there's no weapons in it.
Did you catch that? In true Walmart fashion, let's roll that back. Police discover another $100 bill in the suspect's purse. And that's not all.
He's got to make sure there's no weapons in it.
Probably amazed because I get on the phone.
That's fine.
And that's the locker. Y'all want y'all locker back? I mean, you the locker.
Yeah.
ID in there?
No, she can do it.
I was saying, you got ID in your purse?
Yeah.
She's all around Indiana.
No, that's not my ID. That's not my ID.
Where's your ID at?
It's what Pink here.
What is this one? Why you got Indiana?
It's my fake ID. Yeah, I'm young.
Daja admits to having a fake ID in her purse, or two?
Can I go through it myself?
Is this another? Oh, this is fake as shit.
Yeah. Can I go through it myself?
Nope, you're in custody right now.
I'm trying to help you.
I found it.
Damn.
Pink here. Here you go.
No, you don't have to go through all my stuff.
I just gotta make sure there's no weapons.
Ain't no
in it. That's
weapons,
it.
ma'am. I don't do none of that. And you can put my IDs back in there.
Investigators look to recover that money found in the suspect's purse.
Was there another 100 in there?
There was.
That's mine. That is mine. I just took money. I can show y'all the transaction that I just took my money out. My account.
Well,
that is mine. Literally.
When you go to court,
That is mine. I just took it out my transaction this morning.
Well, guess what? The bank has transaction history and all that stuff.
Yes, and I can show y'all.
Well, then you could print that out and bring it to court, and then you.
But that is.
We'll bring it too. We'll bring it too.
What you mean? Bring it. That is mine. I have a bill to pay, and that's why I took it out my transaction.
I see nothing.
And as for those fake IDs,
Get it out of your bank account. You show that transaction. We got our videos.
I thought fuck, bro.
Yep, some taking them.
Oh, good. Yours and we'll get back to you. Okay,
How I'm gonna get it back? I'm confused.
So you have fake IDs.
Yeah, I do. I'm young. I'm 20 years old.
Okay.
I like to party. I like to.
Yeah, but it's legal.
Okay, I don't give a. Y'all can throw them away. Y'all got my real ID.
Oh no, they're not getting thrown away.
Whatever y'all gonna do it, I'm getting charged with it.
You absolutely are. That's forgery.
Okay.
It's felony charges.
Okay. Okay.
You're not gonna get a break sitting here fighting with officers.
I'm not fighting. I was never even fighting them. I asked them nicely, can I get my things? And he right here, he broke my nail at some motion. And you
put your hands behind your back when he told you to? Okay.
I was right here. When I was right here, I got up. And that's when he did all this, everything. I don't have to lie about that.
Oh,
He knows. Chicago police never.
Those IDs may be illegal, but they're actually pretty impressive to investigators.
Well,
these are pretty good.
All right, that car's going to go into lead for DUI only and for owner not being present. And then...
I don't know, that one looks kind of fake, honestly.
It looks, I don't know,
You
but
can tell it's fake because it's a picture. That's it.
I'll tell you this, getting into a bar, this isn't.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
probably,
fun.
yeah.
Oh, here.
I don't do nothing else with them but get in that. And I use my regular ID for everything else.
Sounds like our suspect may be checking out with more than just a theft charge. Before heading off to jail, the former cashier has one more trick up her sleeve.
Hey, you can't be on your watch.
Stop touching me, bro. I'm trying to text my...
Calls when
Bro,
you get
watch out. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Leave me alone, bro.
Do I have to take off the watch? Do I have to take off the watch?
Okay, bro. Leave me alone, bro.
Stop getting on the watch.
I'm trying to test my whole mom.
You'll be able to make calls once you get down to jail.
No, I can make a call now.
No, you can't.
What?
I don't think you understand that you're under arrest.
I don't give a you.
Okay.
Hope that's recorded.
It is.
Okay. And I bet you I get out.
No, you probably will. I'm not going to deny that.
Minutes later, officers arrive to escort Deja out.
All right, well, we're ready to transport you, so will you behave? Will you be good? Okay.
All right, hey, Lopez.
Did you park car?
Deja is led out to a patrol car, taken to jail, and booked for theft, aggravated assault on a peace officer, and resisting arrest. She later pled not guilty to the charges. That case is still pending.
Just watch your head, okay? I'm gonna put a seatbelt over you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. But you know, back to Diddy, back to Jay-Z. Do y'all think Jay is guilty? Do y'all think Jay, did what they're alleging? Or do you think that this is just a money grab? I try to tell people, though, money doesn't hold the same value as it did once upon a time. Now, you can have all the money. You just become a target. But if you think because you got money that they're going to turn a blind eye to these type of allegations, it doesn't hold the same weight as it did before, man. And I want y'all to let me know. Do you feel that Jay was with Diddy on this one, or is this just a money grab? The girl is making up the story, or is this story the truth? They say birds of a feather flock together, and Jay and Diddy been running for a long time. Now all these allegations is coming out. His attorney tried to put the pressure on the legal system with these motions, and they have been denied. The judge said this is going to go through the legal proceedings. The judge is treating this as if this is a victim, and Jay-Z's attorneys is going to have to prove that this victim is lying. So the process is about to get messy. And we all know that it's more victims, more people that are going to come out and make the statements against both of these guys. So, I think the heat been turned up, man. This is what happens, I guess, when they done with you. And this is how I look at it. When they get done with you and your mission is fulfilled, as these puppets are, because I call them all puppets, All of them is puppets, man. And they here delivering the message to us, the people. And when they done with them, they throw them away. When it's over, man. Let me see here. Hold up. When it's over, man. Let me see here. Hold up. It done got messy though. Hold up. Say it's a major loss for Diddy and Jay-Z on this situation though. Let me see. Hold up. Let's see what they ain't talking about.
And it was going to blow up.
I mean, I don't think Bleak wanted to take over. I don't think he had the ability to, Jay was writing a lot of his rhymes. So if Jay retired, that meant he was out of business as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that, Jay couldn't. If he's still making records, Jay can't retire. Jay was writing his record. Ask Bleak about it, But that was like Bleak. Put it like this: I could understand Bleak's loyalty to Jay because he had Jay as a ghostwriter. But like Bleak was like someone that I had to like. I remember with Bleak, he was supposed to get on the first side, the A side of a Clue record was a big deal, and we got him Real Estate on a Clue record, A side Privilege. And he was like, didn't feel like writing a rap or couldn't at the time. And, I had to make the decision to bench him. You know what I'm saying? Like I made the decision like he could sit down because I'm not putting our money into that. He's not going to fight. I'm not fighting harder for him than he fights for himself. So there's always been I've always had to push Bleak to put an album out or, it's like, I don't know. I personally think I wanted more for Bleak than Bleak wanted for himself. Like I would argue with him about, do your own show and do your own. That was our argument. This is what we was always arguing about. It's like, stop depending on this dude to do everything for you. You got to do it on your own. Like you don't want to be 40 years old just doing interviews, talking about him all day as a business model and you're still working, like you still got to move when he say so. That's not what I would consider the perfect life that I would want to work toward. And he had the I took Bleak to Europe with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he could, I always wanted Bleak to do well. I consider him a little brother. I love him to death. Pause. I love them all. I ain't got no problems with Bleak. But, back then, I wish that he wanted it. I don't think he definitely didn't want to take over Rockefeller. That's not what he wanted. It's too much responsibility.
So you was trying to help him be more independent. You wasn't trying to get him away from Jay.
No, I never tried. That wasn't what I was doing. I was like, yo, stop performing in his show. I was like, open up for him and do your own show. You understand what I mean? I was like, you don't have to always be up under this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do it. I wanted him to do it on his own. I wanted like how Cam had Dipset and Beanie had State Property. He was supposed to have, I think, Get Low, but ask Get Low about what happened. It wasn't my fault, but I was ready to make him a vice president. He just had to get his label together. He just, couldn't do it for himself. How you gonna do it for somebody else?
Right. Yeah, I had no idea that Jay was writing for him.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but he's been talking about me lately, so I didn't care. I didn't think it was a secret, but if he has the nerve to talk about my business, then I don't have a problem, not to say like tit for tat. I didn't know that, I couldn't remember. I remember when I said it, I was like, I wonder if that was still a secret. I just thought everybody knew. But I felt like he was so comfortable saying that, he must know, everybody must know. Because he was saying certain things like I had no motion or something. I couldn't believe he did that. He says things sometimes that bug me out. But again, it's like when I could tell when somebody's telling him to say stuff because I know Bleak. But this is also somebody that I saved. Like, he was getting robbed by his own people. They had his publishing. They had his, they had his publishing. It's the watch, okay? They had his publishing, and I'm the one that wouldn't sign him until I got him accountants, I got him lawyers. Like, I think I did more than anybody for Bleak as far as making sure he got treated correctly. Like, he was down to get treated any way they wanted to treat him. He wasn't fighting to protect his publishing and the things he was doing. I guess he wasn't writing anyway. But I was the one that was like, I'm not even going to sign you until you have all your shit together. And you could revert back to hearing him say that, because it's all I did that for all my artists. I made sure all their shit was right, or all the artists I worked with.
Whatever happened to Emil? It's like she disappeared out of nowhere, man.
She did. You know, after we dropped her, she didn't do anything else. That's how you can tell, and no disrespect to Emil, but that means that if you can't make it without me at all, that it was all gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, I wish she would have appreciated that moment a little better, because she didn't realize the work it was gonna take for me and us to get her where she had to go. I feel like Jay had Beyonce in her first video. He directed her first video. Like, she had enough to go. It was on her. She was in the steering wheel. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have to ask what happened to that person, you have to ask that person what happened to that person, because it's their fault. It can never be nobody else's fault. Like, you niggas is against me and fucking with me all day, but you still know what I'm doing. You still see me out here being, you know, with motion and doing different things, different verticals. It's just independent. And a lot of sucker dumb just be like wondering, like, every dollar they be looking at my pockets and shit. Like, who the wants other dudes looking at their pockets all day? That's like a nightmare.
Why y'all release her?
Because she wasn't doing what I was asking her to do. And I'm like, Jay, this is you. You said you're doing all this shit. I'm not doing this. And he didn't do it, so we had to drop her. Like, he made a commitment to executive produce and see her through. And he decided not to, you know, do that shit. And it was like, I'm not taking care of your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your child. You know what I mean? Like, you decide to do it this way, then you got to handle that. But you can't leave her with me, because we going to be arguing all day. And I'm not fighting. I'm not like, I remember like, I was like, she was starting to gain some weight. And I was like, yo, you got to go work out. And she was like, I got to get her a car to take her, pay for her. But I'm like, I have to do these things for you to go take care of yourself? Like, why? Like, I'm not even gonna get no money off this shit. And I was done. But she was great. You know, I ain't mad at her. I'm getting no beef with her. I would have loved to have seen her go and hit her, realize her potential without us. Nobody ever stopped her.
Dame speaking out heavy though. You know, I like Dame is putting it together for his channel, man. I definitely like that. And we see what it is though.
What was like the first bit of actual success that you had?
The first record deal I got. That was a success within itself at that age. So signing the Future Sound and then signing Original Flavor, the first, you know, everything was a victory because it was all new. Like everything was like shit that I had been seeing on TV or hearing about. So every time even like now, me being on BET, it's probably not a big deal to anyone else that's in this business. But for me, for what I've been trying to do, it's a victory because it's the first time I've done it in that way, completely on my own. You know, first times for things are like the best times. And I didn't know what was wrong or what was right. I just knew what I was doing was working.
You work with Original Flavor, and how long does that last for?
I mean, Ski, we got dropped. Atlantic dropped them after their second album. And, Ski ended up producing the majority of Reasonable Doubt. And for what I hear, he's not getting his royalties either.
Oh.
And then after that, when I went from Rockefeller to opening up art galleries, and I made so many albums with Ski, but with live instruments, with Jay Electronica, Mos Def, Wiz Khalifa. I was able to work with any artist and every artist. I've worked with every single artist I've ever wanted to work with, but I had to do that independently. And I wanted to do it from a cool environment.
At what point do you, Jay, and Biggs decide to form Rockefeller?
We had took this trip to St. Thomas, and we had a real conversation. And I don't know exactly the day or time, but it was just after just doing so much shopping of Jay and people telling me, you gotta remember, the elite of the music business, every single executive in the business, 100% of them, from Kevin Liles to Russell Simmons to Sylvia Rhone to Ruben Rodriguez, all of them said that Jay was trash. All of them. 100% of them said. And that's why it's funny to me to see how they act these days. But the thing is, they wasn't trying to let us in the door. Because they must have known how good he was. They just didn't want us in control. But that's why I don't trust these people. And we just decided, these guys are lames. How could a nerd sit behind a desk and tell us what's good or what's not good? And we just said, fuck it, let's do it ourselves. And, Biggs had some bread. So that's how he came to the table. Pause.
Who thought of the name?
Tone Hooker from Original Flavor. So I was looking for a name. So we had I would have meetings for shit like this. So I had a meeting we need a crew. We got to have a crew. What's our name? And he's like, Rockefeller. And I was like, two names. Rockefeller, you fuck with us, or Rockefeller represents money. I said, I like it. Let's go.
Were you around when Jay battled DMX?
Of course, I set the battle up. Come on, man. That was my battle. He wasn't even supposed to be battling. That was between me and my man Steve Mack from the Best Out. Me and Steve went to school together, and I guess, and then we ended up being in the same crew. And he's loud and funny. He's making a doc about it, and we used to argue because they used to think Jay was so corny. They thought he dressed funny. They just thought he was a cornball. They used to give me hell about Jay. Every single day I had to argue. I had to have Jay battle Big L on 139th Street, but these guys were talking so much. No, what happened was we were at a barbecue on 145th Street, and Steve Mack had his crew, and, Original Flavor were there, and they're not the toughest rappers and shit, but, Harlem Nights, they were on some street shit. And, they wanted to battle. I'm like, I'm not battling on in Harlem. They're not from Harlem. We have to battle on some mutual ground. And, Steve thought I was scared or whatever, but then I found a spot. Tone Hooker found his man. He's in a wheelchair. He's still outside too. He had a pool hall, and I called him yo, we gonna meet up. I found the spot. We gonna meet up in the Bronx. So first it was a game at the Gaucho Gym. We went to the game at the Gaucho Gym. Then we all headed over there, snapping and all that. And they brought DMX. I didn't know he was bringing DMX. But Jay was with us. So the battle really wasn't supposed to be between Jay and DMX. They just was both there. And, DNY was there. And Big L was taping it. The battle, I had him taping it. I gave him a camera and all that to tape it. And I mess with him to this day, was like, oh, our shit's not copywritten. So he wouldn't let me tape them. So I taped my side of it. And, motherfuckers pulled out guns back and forth on tables and shit. And then finally they got on the table and they went at it. And it was a great battle. Legendary.
Damn. Man, that would have been crazy.
I had on the yellow Pelly. I had the base Yankee base. I remember what I had on. Crooked hairline I had hair at that time. It's in the beginning of Backstage. The crazy thing is Big L shot that footage. That's what's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
All Jay's half of the battle you guys do have.
I gotta find that shit.
That's crazy. And Big L, man, you know, he was a part of a lot of stuff back then. Like, I know him and Fat Joe were really tight, and, you know, they had their thing going on, and, you know, how'd you meet Big L and, you know, work with him?
He was from 139th Street, and, you know, I used to be on 41st and 142nd. So we kind of knew each other before the rap, and when we all started to get into the rap, it just, you know, I was trying to help, and then it was like Cam and Bloodshed and him and Mace, and it was the group was supposed to, damn, I just forgot the name of what that group was supposed to be. Children of the Corn. And you know, they were younger than me. Not Big L so much, but like Cam and them. But it was just more of a Harlem thing. It was a block thing. We knew each other from the block.
A lot of talent comes out of Harlem.
Harlem is the originator of damn near everything. Everybody copies Harlem in New York. Everybody copies New York in the rest of the country. And everybody copies the country, you know. But it all starts with Harlem. You know what I mean? It's for black culture. I would say fashion, a lot of that shit being like London and shit.
You mentioned the struggle of not being able to get a deal, you know, and you guys decided to make your own record deal, or your own record label. You know, at that point in time, there wasn't a lot of people who have done it. How hard was it to get everything off the ground at the beginning, or was it easy? Did it just come natural? What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming.
Far as his lawyer saying that Diddy is not a friend, they are just acquaintances. He does not consider him a friend. He does not hang out. He doesn't know nothing about him. And then there's a video going viral right now where Diddy is saying he brings Jay-Z for the 20-year anniversary of Bad Boy, saying Jay-Z's
special.
Yeah, he says, like, when I'm in trouble, I call on him.
Yeah, and guess what? He did it this time, just like D. Haven said. And guess what? He ain't there.
Wow.
What's new? Boo-boo?
We had Dr. Umar in a couple days ago, in which
salute.
And he said that there probably was a conversation between Diddy and Jay to where, like,
gives a shit about what fucking Umar Johnson has to say in it. That hogwash she did with Art of Dialogue, implying that the 13-year-old, now 37-year-old autistic victim was black, that a black father wouldn't stand for that. Like, he literally set up there and put a whole race on a Jane Doe who none of the details or anything about who she was mentioned. And then in fooldom fashion, he tied it all the way to Trump. Trump. So here's the lineup. They're trying to take down all the black billionaires, so when Trump gets in office, all the black billionaires will know not to help their people. And that's why all of this is happening. Because Trump is going to make the black billionaires not help their people.
So can I ask you this, Jag? Because Hogwash.
These niggas ain't helping their people as it is.
So Jack, I got a very.
What the man doing?
Yeah, I got a very important
Other than
question.
laundering money through charities, allegedly. I'm just curious, what he done?
Damn.
Shout out to Magic Johnson, a real black billionaire who wasn't all freaked off, who actually made business, bank exchange, created dollars in real black neighborhoods so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody else.
I mean, he actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop. And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did do that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G.
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names, and wouldn't nobody be able to sue me.
Wait, please name them because we need to know.
Wait a minute. Those are things that I'll be discussing on the Jaguar Wright Show from here on out.
Shout out Jaguar Wright Show. But yeah, no, we need those names because god dang. We can't have them out here just spreading the devil juice.
The hate
that ninja. So Jack, let me ask you.
A lot of dangerous people out there.
Come on now. When New York first uplifted the statute where you could kind of have a civil suit against your whoever might have caused
Your assailant.
What do you feel the agenda of that was? Because we already seen Bill Cosby go through it, R. Kelly go through it. What do you think their agenda was to give 2 years to say anybody could not go criminal, but you could have
to
a
give
civil
the
suit?
feds a chance to clean up as much of the mess as they can before Trump made it in.
You don't think it was to attack the black community because of our
Because they
hip hop?
do it better than we do it to ourselves. Diddy and Jay-Z were never friends. First the Fat Boys, now this. Ain't nothing to believe it.
So hold on, Jack. When you were on the, when you were on the set of
friends.
wait, when you were on the set of Song Cry, the MTV situation, and you're around Jay-Z, you're in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Did he never hopped on the phone? He never had a conversation. Hey, yeah, that's Sean. That's the other Sean. We good.
I never paid attention to what people did with their cell phones. I minded my business.
Did you ever see Diddy around Jay-Z?
I mean, of course. At parties, at events. Everyone knows this. This ain't nothing new. Everyone knows this. The simple fact that that nigga went and did exactly everything I said he was going to do. I said on Piers Morgan, I've been making that jump ever since, but don't nobody want to give me credit for that. All of these people he been robbing all of these years. And I know I'm responsible for him losing at least $125 million in the past 2 months. I say that with pride.
Yeah, so
Don't
Jack,
nobody want to give me credit for what I do.
Jaguar was right.
Yeah, they might say you're bringing down our black billionaires, Jack. You're bringing our black billionaires down.
How can I do that? I'm a liar, right? How could I do that? I'm crazy, right? How could I do that if I'm not right?
Come on.
See, I don't need to be right. I just need to admit that y'all was wrong. If I could get a dollar for every person that's called me a liar in the past 5 years, then I would be financing.
You
I
do
buy
seem
my
like
satellite next week.
you do seem like a keeper of information.
Oh, I am what I am, and I do what I do, and it is what it is.
So Jack, can I ask you? Kareen Steffens came forward and said she heard the allegations about Sean Carter, and she believes them because of her interactions with him.
Of course.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Like, but how many more need to come forward? I'm curious.
Do you feel like people hide their past in the security of marriage? Like, hey, I got a new wife. My past is my past. We should talk about that.
Martin. He went and found himself a little Tisha 2.0, and everybody forgot about that Paratown thing. Now, guess what? Will Smith don't know Diddy either.
Will Smith don't know Diddy either.
It's a whole virus, G. It's like, I don't know Diddy.
What do you think that's about?
I don't even like baby oil. I don't know Diddy. I can Diddy do our bops.
No, wait, Jack, you had a lot of criticism towards Will Smith. And y'all, hey, Philadelphia, Philly. Do you feel like
he grew up in Overbrook?
Oh. Okay. Is that a different part or something? Or?
Must be too sad.
It ain't quite Philly.
Okay. Yeah. But for him to distance himself during his speech, like saying, I don't know Diddy, I don't do baby oil. When you see that, knowing his own situation, what does Jaguar Wright take from that?
I am really not trying to get smacked in the face with a bottle like Jamie Foxx. That's how it rings to me.
Okay. Jack, someone had made a situation saying that this whole situation with Diddy and everybody would not have happened if Diddy didn't put Carisha, Young Miami, out on Front Street, going to her shows, letting her talk about their relationship openly on her podcast, giving her a show. All this would have been still going on if Carisha never got the okay to kind of do a lot of stuff that Diddy never did do. What do you take to that? That Carisha might have sparked anger.
Yeah, nah, she ain't that relevant. She's exactly what they say. We're getting a DRG mute. She ain't that deep.
You don't think
everything that she'll testify to, she's guilty of. Wherever this goes, she's gonna be on probation for quite some time. She ain't white. They ain't gonna let her go like they let that white boy go.
Do you feel is a woman scorned?
Come on now. Y'all know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Whatever that woman feels, she's got the right to feel. She earned it the hard way. And it's kind of disgusting that people are still trying to find a way to slut shame her. In order for any of this to have happened, she would have had to admit it, all of the things that she did wrong as well. She's already swallowed that. And her husband supported her behind it.
Yeah.
People keep forgetting that part of the story. They're a newlywed couple with young children. They're trying to build a family in a very ugly world, a world that the mother of that family is all but too understanding of. She knows all of those things. She knows what happened. And she's sitting there putting those angels to bed every night, praying to God that her and her husband, Mr. Fine, can always keep them from that happening to them. If nobody is even taking that into consideration, then really it's time for you to log off.
That's real.
Nobody's thinking about that. Nobody's thinking about the fact that a compromised national network like the National Broadcasting Company allowed a bullying job happen to a 37-year-old traumatized autistic woman with no comfort, there with no one there to shield her, to give her peace. Anyone who knows autistic people, they crumble in social settings and they'll do anything and say anything just to get you to stop pressuring. NBC should be sanctioned for that.
Right.
They
What are your thoughts?
And they should pay her.
Yeah, what are your thoughts with NBC putting her out? Like, you know, just even interviewing her behind.
I think they're just as grubby for what they done to R. Kelly and then give Jay-Z a fluff ball interview. Where's Gail?
Where's Gail?
Why Gail ain't got no interview for the Carters? They're such good friends.
Hey.
Where's Gail? What, she trying to keep the brain away from Oprah before she passed out on the Ozempic again? I don't know. Where is this?
Jack, she just had a birthday. He's like, for those.
And her birthday.
Hey, okay.
Tell her to take her ass to a dance party with Beyonce. Go the fuck on.
Now,
almost mesmerized America into bringing that trap queen into the White House to run us in the ground.
Trap queen.
That's all she is. She a trap queen. I'm gonna call it like it is.
Almost. Now, wait, hold on, Jack. Blue Ivy Mufasa's out right now, and Blue Ivy's there. Should we just like?
Is it? Not a lot of people watching it. You sure that wasn't just a screening party?
Oh,
I mean, usually something of that magnitude. It got beat by
Sonic.
By Sonic.
And Moana too is whooping Iris right behind it.
Do you feel that's nepotism at its finest once again?
I feel like they always knew it was a mediocre film, but they thought that the prestige to the Carters was gonna make it happen. They didn't know the Titanic was about to hit the berg.
Did you watch it, Jet?
For what?
For the singing lessons, Jack. For the singing lessons.
I think they should just watch my content. Ain't nothing to learn there.
So, Jay, I gotta ask you. There's a movement going on right now. #Free Diddy. It's gaining steam. It's gaining a lot of steam right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess people are just kind of like they're missing the parties. They're missing something. What are your thoughts when you see a Free Diddy hashtag going?
I'm gonna tell you this. God bless him. God bless every last one of them.
Be blessed.
You know, it's just, it's unfortunate, you know, that people are longing for all of that abuse and all of them pharmaceuticals and all of that unconsented this and deed. You know what I think? I think we should find a big uninhabited island, and everybody that wants to free Diddy, we put them right there on that island, and then we take Diddy and we put him there and let him loose. And let them have Diddy. And we call it Diddy Land. And you like, you going over there with you.
Wait, so
that'll show you all the love he has to give.
But Jack, does a part of you not feel bad for Sean Carter or Sean Combs at all?
You know.
Okay.
I never feel bad for people who don't feel bad for anyone other than themselves. These are extreme narcissists. I'm sorry. I what's to feel bad for? Everything that they've done, they're about to reap what they have sown. And how can I be mad at their harvest? It's what they planted. It's what grew. Let them feast on the bounty of their. Let them. They don't have food, let them eat cake.
Hey.
Eat the cake, anime.
Anime. So, Jack, let me get your thoughts on, and let me get your take on, I think either Don Lemon or maybe Torre. He's been very... Yeah, man. He just recently said, like,
I don't give a fuck about that fact.
All right.
I really don't.
Then let me ask you this.
Whatever he said...
Yeah, for those like him.
That's my response. You want to know what my response is? To anything and everything, all things, future, right now, all included, you're fat. Touré, your ass is Touré. We need to free Diddy in your ass. Eat it, stop clout chasing me. It's starting to get pathetic. You're sitting over there on TikTok, dry begging for hands. Like you're weird, G. You look like a lost character from Back to the Future. You're like the nigga Christopher Lloyd with no originality. That's how I feel about you two, right? I'm the drunk auntie. Well, let me sip my wine and say this one last time so we can make sure you get it. You're you a French fry, deep fried in Diddy lard. I don't get no what you gotta say. Now go die on TikTok. Keep dry begging people.
So,
attention, you whore. It's disgusting. Get a fucking haircut.
God.
Get some new. Call Courtney Burgess. Ask them for them Gothams. Weird. I'm sorry. What was it?
Yeah, can we have you address the rumors of backpedaling, taking things back that was said prior?
I mean, what you want me to say?
Yeah, I don't know.
AI some to make it sound like I said something that I didn't say. I told the actual story in the name of the that actually done what he done. I clarified it that though Mr. Carter has done things to me, he did not do that thing to me directly himself. That's not a backpedal. That's a clarification.
There you go.
Unfortunately, niggas are so thirsty for Jaguar right content and lies and conspiracy that this made it all the way to TMZ. Meanwhile, you got internet cyber stalkers plotting future swattings, calling sheriffs about warrants on me, and calling the Diddy hotline saying that they need to make me a client immediately. Giving my fiance's personal phone number that there's no way that stalker had. Let me share a little something with you. I put up a short today on my channel, The Jaguar Right Effect.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all should see this. It's unbelievable. Okay, here we go. They want to send the police to your house. They want to SWAT you. I told you when you sat with Sean Atwood, this was going to happen. Now they're making plans for you, Lanisha. No one listens to me, even though I'm always right. And now, the conscience patrols. Good luck.
The first question I have, Jag, is I'm curious. You know, I love Baby Yoda, and I love, you know, why don't you just put your face out there on those? I'm just curious before I even talk about that content.
Who needs to see my face? Y'all know what I look like.
I like Kanye West doing a deposition. I hear you. I hear you. So, with that being said, to get swatted, again, Jack,
She's troll food now, Lamisha Fuller. And they're going to feast because I know these stories. They're going to make that girl's life a living hell for content. They're going to terrorize her. They already have her address. And she ain't me. Good luck.
Any advice you would give her?
Go to God and tell the truth to the authorities. Because they're going to ride you down. You're their Christmas meal. They're going to feast on you.
But Jack, did Buzbee ever reach out to you, his law firm?
Yeah. After he was called by Danny Robinson, and she gave him our phone number. And we made it very clear when we spoke, we weren't interested in retaining him, but we wished him all the best and Godspeed. And if there's any information that we have that can help him, he's more than welcome to it. But there was no plan to work with Tony Buzbee. And that's because I was waiting on another piece of information to be confirmed. And it was Ms. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter just donated $100,000 to the Buzbee alma mater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beyonce?
Yeah. Interesting. That Mrs. Knowles, because she's now dropped the Carter. And she's
Oh wait, she dropped it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
She's just listed in Forbes, and now she's donating to her husband's arch enemy's alma mater in Houston, Texas, where all of those families consort and know each other and country club together and go to Joel Osteen services from time to time. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Interesting. Do you know what I really think is going on?
Let's go.
I think we're witnessing the beginning of the War of the Roses. Do you remember that movie, War of the Roses, with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner? And it was about this couple. They were together and they had this wonderful life, but then it was just time for them to part ways. The wife outgrew the husband. He wanted things to stay the same. She wanted things to change. They waged war on each other. The divorce was catastrophic, and it ended up claiming both of their lives fighting over property. I think Jay-Z and Beyonce is about to give us War of the Roses 2.0. Matthew Knowles has been auspiciously quiet. Wonder why?
Yeah, Matthew he got his own problems to deal with.
Yes, but if anything goes down with the Carters, it goes down for the Knowles because they live off of what's generated from that marriage.
Definitely.
They're very quiet. Or maybe Tony Buzbee's just doing all the speaking for them to make sure that their daughter can break away, maintain some symbol of, oh my God, I didn't know he was a monster. I will survive. Books, tours, terrible remixes, new, footwear lines and all of this. And yeah.
So let me get your take, May. All this is going to come to a head in May when this case opens up.
No, it's not. That's just the kickoff.
Oh, damn. Okay.
If Beyonce is trying to burn the Jigga Man before it gets her brain completely, this is going to be delicious.
Do you feel Beyonce performing on Christmas Day is overshadowing Kendrick's?
Oh, no, I think it's a humiliation ritual. I think it's gonna be the worst day of her life. I can't wait.
Christmas Day,
Yeah, I'm gonna
Netflix,
be doing the
NFL?
live reaction on my Patreon to the.
We subscribing just to watch your live reaction. I swear. I got to get your take on it because I think they're trying to make this almost as big as Super Bowl.
Yeah, we gonna see how that's working.
Okay. All right, Jack.
Joe Biden is asleep, and Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. Hey, dance party with Beyonce. Hey, dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. Yo, coldest diss track of the year.
Oh,
He
man.
wrote that beat too, because you know that's that partition beat. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Y'all didn't notice that?
I did not notice that.
It's a partition beat. He dissed her on her own song.
Oh, man.
That's wild. Trump cold with it. Dance party with Beyonce.
Okay.
Dance party with Beyonce. Hey.
All right, Jack, here's what we're about to do. We want to go over some events just throughout the year that's happened, and we just got to get Jaguar Wright's take on a lot of things that's kind of taking place. We're going to be all over the place with this. We're going to kind of jump around, so we're not in chronology. We're not going January to December. We're moving around.
Okay.
But I have to get your first and foremost take on the Jamie Foxx special. What happened was. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I fell asleep on it. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We tried. We turned it on 3 times. We gave it.
Oh. I heard that about Netflix movies. You know, you give it the first 10 minutes if it don't tap you.
The Diddy joke. And him, and he was in the dark tunnel, and was it the devil or was it Diddy? Like, I heard that part, and then he started crying. And then he kept on crying. And I just kind of said, you don't have to cry alone. I'll be there by your side.
No,
Be strong.
So Jack, let me ask you.
Ooh, God bless him.
For a person like Jamie Foxx to go on there and be that vulnerable to the world, you don't give him like some type of credit. Say, hey, I give you to cry in front of
the same amount of credit I give for that performance in Ray. He's an amazing actor.
Oh, wow.
Everyone knows that.
By design, you say.
He was on stage.
Oh.
He's an actor.
Okay. Okay.
How many, Jack? How many times did you laugh, Jack?
In the first 10 minutes. In the first 10 minutes.
10 minutes of it. I don't know. I remember when he started running down on Cat Williams and he was imitating Cat. And I'm like, you better with Wanda.
That was a pretty good impression though, right?
I mean, it was a good impression, but he does impressions.
Yeah.
You know, he's an actor. See?
What do you say to black men being vulnerable though? Like kind of going into our emotions. Don't we need more of that?
I think it would be great if y'all could be vulnerable about all of these children that are being trafficked that no one seems to be paying attention to because everyone's looking at the newest distraction in the Diddy and Rock Nation downfall.
Hey.
That part.
That part.
How about if they turned one of the biggest voices for this movement to come into full swing has now become one of the greatest distractions. They have tried to make Jaguar Wright a distraction.
Right.
Meanwhile, while everybody's talking about I'm backpedaling, I'm backtracking, I said this, I said that, I did this, I did that. Nobody's paying attention to the fact that the Carters are losing millions by the week and liquidating faster than Ozempic liquefies the bread in Oprah Winfrey's belly.
Yeah, no, the fact that a lawsuit was filed, and normally whenever a black man gets in a lawsuit, brands drop him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that French company that's responsible for 50% of Rockefeller's estimated revenue. They talking about suspending that and pulling out. You know, like Diddy never did. They want to just pull out. It's funny. Everyone else in the world seems to have a more accurate picture of the Carters than Americans do. Way the Daily Mail is just pulling up all those lovely pictures from a very, very young Destiny's Child and a very adult Mr. Carter. Okay.
Jack, I wanted to ask you about Michael Jackson.
What about him?
Was he touching little kids?
What I will say is this. They spent a lot of money and a lot of time trying to convince people that he did. And yet every witness that they had recanted or was found to be a liar. You know, the simple fact that he was a child victim of SA in the industry, the things that happened to him in Motown, the way he was abused, the way he was taken advantage of by the late Quincy Jones, may he rot in hell. The way he was lined up by his own people when all he ever did was try to warn people how to protect yourself from the industry. The way he gave good counsel to Aaron Carter and let him know that he would be targeted by Sony, and look at what happened. And now we have Liam Payne. You know, it's interesting where people's minds go.
It does seem like a campaign to attack the melanated. But would you say how do you pick and choose what's true? Like when you hear Michael Jackson versus Diddy, Bill Cosby versus R. Kelly, Jay-Z versus whoever else.
R. Kelly had his own set of Diddy tapes. That's what got him. Bill Cosby admitted it in a deposition that he thought nobody was ever gonna see. Diddy was broadcasted on CNN violently attacking and abusing at what they've been trying to disprove was an FO. I'm just saying.
We hear you.
You can't argue with reality. Rainier Satterwhite, Wanda's son. She had it when she was 16. It takes 40 weeks to cook a baby. That means she was 15 when she got pregnant. Age of consent in Pennsylvania is 17. Was then, is now. And she was taken across state lines from Pennsylvania to an apartment in New York. Oops.
Oh man, the detail.
That's how Rainier Satterwhite made it into this world. Take the test, nigga. That's fine. We'll give you don't know Diddy. Take the test. You making Legina Go look halfway rational. You've been ducking this boy's DNA for all his life. Take the test, nigga. Do something.
Would you like to see him on the couch?
About lack of integrity and valor and integrity, and you've been dead beating it your whole life. Meanwhile, Your daughter's looking more like somebody you used to be with than somebody you married to. Whole lot more.
Okay. So, Jack, can I get your take on you had a live, and we just have to address it. The other party's not here, but you said a lot about the Tiffany Haddish situation, in which she jumped on your live, and it was a little, it seemed playful, but it seemed serious. Can you at least address that for the audience, as far as who may have seen you and Tiffany Haddish had a little back and forth?
Oh, I mean, I talked some Cash Money bullshit. She said what she had to say. Meech got on the phone with her, and we've been cool ever since.
There you go. Yeah, no.
I don't know where else to go with that. That's what it is.
No, they're definitely. I
misjudged her.
There you go.
Just like everyone did. And her story, it's explosive. And when you look at the connections of what's, the intersection between David Spates, who filmed and edited it, and helped write the script, and Aries Spears, and now the case has been settled, and me and Tiffany are going to talk about it. I had wanted her to come to the couch because this is where I always bring my hard-hitting truth. That's been our journey up until now.
Yeah.
But this conversation, I think it's just going to be her and I.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing it on this Jaguar Right show. It's going to be our first episode. And after everything that's happened this year, especially after I found out about what happened to the DeHaven video, it's become very clear to me that my truth is very explosive. And though we've worked so hard, as you guys have built this platform, and I've done my best to support it with hard-hitting content, it's just gotten to the point where my truth has become a little bit too dangerous. And I need to be accountable. My brand, my channel, for the things that I say. You guys weren't sued, but you were struck unfairly. Your platform was targeted, and it was all because of me. And now that Odell and I are finding our feet and we have our rhythm as journalists together and content creators, it's time for us to be accountable for everything we put out. They say they can't sue us for this. Well, guess what? We have the Jaguar Right show. Come at us directly. You don't gotta call Rupert Murdoch over here. You don't gotta confer with Leor Cohen over here. Come at us directly. And the only way that we can guarantee that is if my content lives on the Jaguar Right show.
Are you ready for the weight of that?
I've been at the weight of that.
Right. I knew that was the answer. Hey, all right, let's do it.
In the wake of everything that's happened to Wendy Williams, if my voice is going to be this loud, I wanted to stand for something. They tried to take Wendy out of the game. I pray that one day she can come back. But the Jaguar Right show is going to carry her mantle until she can come back and do it herself. I'm not saying that this is going to be a lifelong project, but until someone with that much power can come and hold it down, I will be there for Wendy.